Yo, so I want to talk about something that happened to me a few days ago. I went to the ice cream store, Cold Stone, and I had a really solid conversation with one of the employees there. He was the only employee there, but I think it's something that is worth sharing, especially to those people who seek wisdom in life and want to connect with like-minded souls. So basically, I walked in. There was nobody in the ice cream store. I was talking to my wife, just figuring out what she wanted to get because I was gonna get her some ice cream also. And the guy comes back in once I'm finished, and he asked me, "Hey man, what can I get for you?" And at first I was just like, "Oh, I'm not ready yet. If you can give me a few minutes." And it's like, "Oh, it's all good, man. Like, what are you looking for? Like, what, you know, what can I help you with?" And I was like, "Oh shit. I mean, okay, I'll go. Like, I'll see what's up." So I start talking to him, asking him if he has the ice cream that my wife is looking for, and then asking him if he'd recommend what kind of something that I'm interested in, like what he would recommend. And so he helped me out, and like right away, he was really on it, and during it we're just talking, and he's like pretty engaged, and he asked me if I'm like like Canadian, and that I remind him of somebody. But anyways, we had this conversation, and towards the end, I don't know what he says. He says something like, um, I don't. We're talking about like authenticity, basically, and he says towards the end, um, like I feel like everybody should just be themselves, basically. He's talking about how like people come in, and he's like, yeah man, people just come in, and they like have this way of being, like whatever, they're coming from their job, whatever, and they just don't want to wait in line, or they don't want to deal with stuff, and then they look at me, and they're just thinking that I hate my job. And he's saying, well, like, I mean, yeah, I could see why people would hate their jobs, and like why that could be an expectation, but I'm here, and I like my job. I actually do like talking to people and getting to know them and serving them, and even if it is just ice cream. And for me, I was like pretty happy to hear that, cause I was like, oh, that's crazy, cause I was just working at a restaurant, and that's something that I realized too, that yeah, I have that expectation. In fact, I told him, I was like, in fact, I had that expectation of you. I felt like I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to take away from your time, even though you're here. For me, I just have it as a given that you don't like where you're at. And for me, and that really kind of, for me, like reflecting now, it's kind of crazy for me to think that. Um, but I think this was a needed experience, because the guy is saying, he's like, yeah, I mean, people think that I hate my job, and I don't. Like, I really enjoy it, and I also think that, why should a job stop me from wanting to be myself, like wanting to get to know people? And for me, and so I was like, yeah, dude, like, and my body was just vibrating this whole time. I was just like super happy. I was looking over at this guy, like I wanted to hug this dude. I was so happy to connect with somebody just like him. It was like, bro, like we need more people like this person. Like I was so happy. Anyways, we're just talking, and I just tell him, like, yeah, I tell him about my experience. I used to not like working at a restaurant. Um, like I have my business, I have all these things that I'm doing, but I realized that I might as well enjoy where I'm at. I might as well give myself, even if it is in a place that I wouldn't expect or I wouldn't want to be at. And like, yes, I am surrounded by people that also don't like their jobs. It's common to do that, and so of course, like for me, I walk around having that expectation that if you work at a restaurant or a minimum wage job, you probably don't like your job. And I told him, I was like, I probably shouldn't have that expectation, but also, I do appreciate when people um, aren't that way, when they actually are positive. And I told them, it's not that I focus on the negative, it's more that it's something that's kind of there, and if it's not, there's something better, then I appreciate that like so much. And so I tipped them like $5, um, I don't really tip often. I was just like, here's $5, man. Thank you so much. And I was like, oh really, bro? You like, you don't have to. I'm like, bro, like you deserve it. And like the energy, I told him. And I told him too. I was just like, you know, people think that, you know, you come in and all you're getting in exchange is the your pay. And it's a lot bigger than that, you know, like it's your energy, it's your whole being that you're giving to people when you're here. So maybe you're not getting paid right now in terms of like whatever your wage is, but you're getting paid in some way, you know. It's an exchange, it's energetic. And I can't quite remember exactly what he said, but he really just brought me, it's like that wisdom that I've been gaining for these past years on working a minimum wage job or working just in a restaurant. You know, it's a humbling experience. But he's just talking to me like, I do remember one thing which he said. I think that if anything, he said, um, your job shouldn't affect who you are. He said, your job should have no effect on who you are, because if you're really about your values and your character and who you are, then it doesn't matter which environment you go to. Like that person should should still stay consistent. And he talks about also social media. He's like, yeah, it's like, you know, these people and social media, these guys that like record themselves being outgoing on the street and like pushing this message of being more, um, just being like putting on a show to show people that, you know, you can do it, you can be this outgoing dude in the street, talk to strangers, etc. He said, I think that that's fake. He says, I think that you should just push the message that that's like, you shouldn't even have to make a show of it, you just do it, you know, it's just who you are. It's just, you know, you don't have to be this character, he said. And I could disagree, you know. I feel like there's some nuance to that. Like I feel like I would love to be that person that inspires people, and I think I would like to show people that it's possible, but I don't think that I'd make that my thing. I don't think I'd make that my brand. I don't think that'd make like a whole thing about that. But I can see, you know, I can see both sides. I can see how they can help people, or also kind of be a hindrance on this idea around authenticity. Um, but you know, I agreed with him. I was like, yeah, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, we're all human beings. You know, we all have to come together, and we're here in this moment. We're sharing this moment, and so the moment we begin to um, use a label to guide our conversation is the moment we really restrict ourselves. Um, and and yeah, he just keeps talking to me about that. And the word comes out, it's authenticity, you know, like we're both about it. He's like, yeah, authenticity, you know, being real, it's like that's all it is, he said. And then we had another guest come in. So she comes in with her kid, and they're about to order. So I'm telling him, yeah bro, I'm gonna let you go. But I'm sharing with him also, you know, like, you know, I told him it's crazy though, because you know, it's dope to know that I'm having this conversation with you, and like we're at an ice cream store, and like and this just naturally happened. But and I also told him, I was like, and I also used to think, are there people that desire this? Are, you know, do people see the world the way that I do? That do they want the same things? And I told him, I was like, I was even afraid of going back into the field because I love psychology, but I don't like the system, right? Um, I was afraid of going back into the system and having to deal with people who use their professional labels as a way to navigate their lives instead of being real. And I told him I was just tired of it. But thankfully, you know, I got this new job. It's an office job. I consider it an upgrade. It definitely is. And it's not like that. I told him, I was like, I have this like super cool boss. She's really like very similar to me, keeping it real. And we don't operate like these robots, right? We operate as human beings working together to in our jobs, and we like what we do. And I told him, yeah, that's really it. And we ended the conversation after that, and he just like shook my hand. I introduced myself, said my name, and I'll probably be heading back to that ice cream store, right? Well, for sure, that's one thing. But um, I wanted to share this because this experience to me was magical. It really was. It was something that I look at the guy, and the whole time we're talking about this, I just want to hug him, dude. I just want to give him like a fucking embrace and let him know that I'm with him. You know, that's something that there's nothing else, bro. There's nothing else that matters more than that. And it's crazy because I don't think I would have been able to have this conversation with this guy if I didn't go through my job as a busser and stick it out these 2 years and um and didn't make it or didn't succeed in my business. I'm really grateful for the experiences I've had. But these moments are the ones that really show me that, because I doubt I would have been receptive enough to have this conversation with this guy. It was a beautiful conversation. It was magical, and it's like, in what conversation do you just want to hug a stranger, right? And let him know that you love him. Like, you love him and you see him, and you don't know him, you never seen him, but in this moment, you know that you guys are walking the same path, and it's huge, and the point that I'm saying is, I wouldn't be able to recognize it because I'd be so caught up in my business or whatever I'm chasing. I would be, because I know myself. I knew who I was. I know who I am. And so this is kind of a message to those who are out there and are working on things or are chasing things, whatever. Everybody is, right? Everybody's growing and going towards somewhere. But, you know, it's almost like this thing where you have to be a specific person, you have to get to a specific level so you can have these kinds of conversations, so that you can connect to people at a deep level. For me, I thought it was like, oh, I want to be able to make these sick ass videos, and really, be super creative and super expressive for people to finally see me and connect with me at that level, and I can inspire them, and this whole big thing, and it's hundreds of thousands of people, and that's still a dream of mine. But little by little, I'm realizing that I don't have to do that. It doesn't have to be that way. I don't have to get to that spot to be able to get what I want. It's happening in bursts, little things, and I don't think I would have been able to receive those little bursts along the way if I was still so stuck on that image of how it was supposed to be, and also that feeling of I need to get to that place. I think at the end of the day, you are seen, whether you are an artist or whether you are, I don't know, an engineer, a psychologist, a creator, I don't know, a smart individual, or somebody that has, like, I don't know, psychological disorders, diagnoses. Like, you have all these things, but you don't have to get anywhere else to be seen. You just have to be in a spot where you allow yourself to feel the moment. You allow yourself to feel connected. Like, I think people are chasing and moving towards places and all of that, but often it's like you're in a rush, and you can't just sit and have a good conversation with the Cold Stone employee. You can't have a good conversation with the guy at Cold Stone. And I've been in different circles. I've been with high profile people that have a lot of power. I've interacted with them, across like many different sectors of life. And I've also been with like the lowest of people in terms of like the socioeconomic status. Like my parents are from Mexico, so the people over there are out there working in the fields, and the clothes that they wear usually are old or secondhand. And I've been on both sides, right? And I've interacted with both people, both different kinds of people, and you're gonna find egos at all levels. But what I've realized is that we are all just human, and we are all brothers, and we are all sisters, and even that moment for me was like a reminder that don't have expectations for these people. For me, it's like, maybe people are where they're at, and they're happy there. What if everybody was happy being where they're at? How would I act if I perceived the world that way? And obviously, that's not fact. It's not truth, in the sense that, yeah, like not everybody's happy. You know, not like you're not gonna do that. But what if my world can be that, right? And so, or what if I am this person that inspires that in people just by being able to see them where they're at, and so, you know, I think about being able to stay within my circle, stay within where I'm at, and grow from there, instead of looking somewhere else and trying to get there, and then not all have the permission to be able to connect at that level and have these magical moments. Like, no, what I want, what I really want is to have those magical moments every day, and and um and yeah, and like also, if I'm around people that aren't in alignment with that specific vibration, it's fine. You know, we keep walking, we keep moving, but I'm not alone, and that's, I think that's one of the biggest things. I'm not alone, and neither is that guy. You know, I'm a reminder to him that he's not alone, and he's a reminder to me that I'm not alone. And if you're watching this, and you listen through this video, I'm another person across the world that's letting you know that you're not alone. And I value authenticity. I value being real. I value being human. I value my values. I value consistency. I value honor, integrity, love, compassion. Like, I value those things, and I think you should let yourself value those too, and don't put those down, right? Don't you know, be who you are, and be consistent, and be authentic, and let your conditions not hinder you but enhance you. Let your conditions be the reason that you grow and expand even more, rather than being the reason that you constrict. And obviously it's a work in progress, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I'm glad to say, I feel good to say that I'm myself about 80% of the time. um doesn't matter where I'm at, doesn't matter who I'm with, I'm pretty much myself 80% of the time. And compared to me 5 years ago, it's huge. And I know that, like, I see people when they're struggling, and it's just hard. I just can't connect, and it's fine. Maybe because they're only themselves like 20% of the time. And I look forward for those moments, right? That we can meet in that space. But I'm not waiting, and I'm moving, and we're enjoying, and we're talking, and we're walking, and more of these moments come in. So I consider myself an everything man, because I can connect with anybody about anything, and that's really the goal. That's really my desire. Like, I am this dude that loves spirituality and psychology, but I allow myself to just enjoy, right? I allow myself to just, you know, enjoy, yeah, like dance, anime, exercise, trading, um, finances, growth, curiosity, reading, literature, expression, music. Yeah, I mean, the body, life, simple stuff. I think those are things that are part of the human experience, and I'm glad to be here and be able to experience them. And I think that um, I'll find the people who are also on those same in the same wavelength. Uh, yeah, and the same goes for you. So hopefully, this video was something that serves you. I was very happy to express it. So I appreciate you tuning in. I'll I'll see you in the next one. Stay lucid. Peace out.